Welcome to a short demo showing how Lavastorm's analytics software is being used by auditors at firms like PwC and Ernst & Young, as well as internal audit groups at major companies to expand audit coverage, complete audits more quickly and efficiently, and to find new insights into business processes. In this video, you'll see what makes Lavastorm different from traditional audit tools as we explore 3 examples of audits built with Lavastorm, including an in-depth walkthrough of a purchases and vendor audit and a shorter look at one for payroll tests and one for travel and expenses. Lavastorm provides a cost-effective audit analytics solution for ad hoc investigations as well as continuous monitoring for persistent controls. Using the product's intuitive visual drag-and-drop development and implementation environment, auditors can easily acquire and merge siloed data into a unified view, ensure audit accuracy and completeness by enabling data discovery and analysis on the complete data set, not just random samples, adapt to changing business processes quickly and easily, automate audits to find and fix exceptions rapidly and continuously. Before we jump into an example of an audit created by Lavastorm, let's take a quick look at the Lavastorm Analytics user interface. The front end to the powerful analytics engine is a visual drag-and-drop environment. It contains an analytic canvas on which modules of functionality called nodes act as the building blocks of the analytic to quickly and easily acquire data, prepare and transform data, apply business rules, and publish results. Here we have a completed purchases and vendor analysis. The audit entails 3 tests on purchase order data. The first test finds POs from a vendor for a specific material, all of which are under the approval level of $10,000, but aggregated together are over the approval level. The second test zeroes in on users that create either many purchase orders or large purchase orders or a combination of both. In the third test, the POs and goods received data are merged to find users that have both created the PO and received the goods, a possible suspect activity which needs to be further investigated. Let's drill into the details of the audit. At the left end are the different data sources that are brought into Lavastorm to begin the analysis. The data sources for this particular audit consist of both extracts of raw SAP tables, specifically tables EKKO, MAKT, and LFA1, and exported SAP reports including MB51, the material movement list, and ME80FN, the purchased order analysis. Because Lavastorm doesn't enforce any data model or schema, any data sources residing in either flat files, databases, or accessible via web services can be read into the tool and used for the analysis. This same purchases and vendor analysis can be parameterized and reused for any ERP system or data source. Prior to applying business rules for the audit tests, the data is prepared and correlated together. The purchase orders analysis data is enriched with the master vendor and materials data and the purchase orders header table. Lavastorm's cross-reference node joins data sources together without writing any code. The cross-reference node outputs both the records that matched and those that didn't match, which could uncover areas for further investigation. For example, here are 7 PO records for materials not contained in the materials master vendor list. If I want, I can save these records to a file to check into at a later date. Before joining the data, the master lists are run through a duplicate detector node to check for duplicates. After the data is correlated, we convert the PO amount to the number format required to sum the data for the first 2 tests. Lavastorm's built-in scripting language enables any data preprocessing or transformation that is required. In the first audit test, we first look for material POs from vendors that are always under the approval limit, which is $10,000 in this case. Lavastorm's split node splits the output based on the criteria specified. The split results are then both aggregated by vendor and material to find the total PO amount for each. The aggregated results of both approval levels above the limit and below the limit are correlated together to weed out vendors and material combinations that are never above $10,000 and should be further investigated. The results are saved to an Excel spreadsheet for further inspection, but could easily be outputted into any format, for example to an issue tracking or case management system, or to some other corporate dashboard. Lavastorm's charting library provides data visualization to aid in the analysis. Here we see a pie chart that compares the percentage of POs that are below the approval level with those that are both above and below the approval level. We also take the top 5 records with the highest totals and chart them. Looking at this bar chart, we can see that vendor 1011 has POs for a specific material totaling more than $10,000. In this test, the approval limit of $10,000 was hard-coded in the node configuration. However, Lavastorm allows for the creation of parameters which can be used to create generic, reusable analyses. Using parameters, the same audit can be run with different data sources, thresholds, dates, or any other variable without reworking any part of it. In the second test, we look for users that have created the largest number of POs, the largest total value of POs, and the smallest number of POs with the largest total value. To perform the test, the POs are aggregated by username to find the total value and the total count of POs for each user. The final part of the analysis is performed using a customized, reusable library node called high-low analysis. When creating an analysis in Lavastorm, any part of it can be grouped together and saved in a customized library. In this case, these groups of nodes performing the high-low function were grouped together, saved to a library, and can now be reused not only in this analysis, but in others as well. Parameters were added to this node to make it reusable in any analysis. The parameters map the data source fields to the value, count, and joint expression fields used in the node. We'll see this node again in the travel and expenses audit graph. The 3 outputs of the node are saved to an Excel file using the Excel node from Lavastorm's publishing library. The Excel node can save multiple outputs to multiple worksheets in the file. In addition to creating an Excel spreadsheet of the data, we chart the top 10 users with the highest amount of generated POs. Our third test in the purchases and vendor analysis examines the segregation of duties in the organization by comparing users who have created POs with those who have received goods. The test finds users who have both created POs and received goods. The first step of the test is to split out the material movement transactions to find those related to the receipt of goods. The record sets for users creating POs and those receiving goods are joined together to find matches. The matches are saved to Excel for further investigation. The results can also be charted. Any audit test that has been built in Lavastorm can be run either on a scheduled or conditional basis, providing continuous audit, monitoring, and reporting. Looking quickly at the payroll audit conducted using Lavastorm, we see that the analysis reads in payroll information from QuickBooks and correlates it with IT user data. The user data contains an employee status indicating whether the employee's IT account is active or blocked. Payments made to employees with blocked accounts are discovered from the analysis and saved to a file. The second part of this analysis correlates paycheck and timesheet reports from QuickBooks to calculate the employee cost per hour. We can use Lavastorm charts to look for outliers which may indicate fraud and may need further investigation. Our last example is a travel expenses audit. Trip receipts and employee lists extracted from SAP are brought into Lavastorm. Since the SAP reports are not in a standard table format, the data is normalized and restructured using Lavastorm's nodes and scripting. The first test of the analysis uses the high-low analysis node we looked at earlier to find which items are most frequently expensed and which represents the most cost. Here we chart the top 10 expenses. Hotel costs represent the largest. The second test aggregates data by employee number and trip number to find the employees with the largest average trip cost and with the largest number of trips. It also performs a cross-reference of both to find employees generating large expenses from frequent trips. The third test examines the trip receipts to find expenses consisting of whole dollar amounts. In summary, Lavastorm Analytics offers a new approach for auditors as they seek to deal with more complex business processes, greater volumes of data, and pressure to expand coverage while keeping costs in line. The sample audits shown in this demo are standard financial tests that were built in a matter of hours, but with Lavastorm you can also analyze, optimize, and control a wide range of business processes. We invite you to see the results for yourself. If you would like to try out Lavastorm for your internal audits, here are 3 simple ways. Contact us at info@lavastorm.com to arrange for a personalized demo or with any other questions. Request a 14-day trial of the Lavastorm Desktop Professional Edition at www.lavastorm.com/trial. Download the free Lavastorm Desktop Public Edition at www.lavastorm.com/public. Thank you for watching our video.